Chapter 18. A Million Miles Away. Swoosh! Several thick vines shot up and around Chomper, preventing him from going to Ruby. Arms tucked close to his body, he found it hard to walk and fell to his stomach, wiggling to get free. Holding Ruby was Ricky and Mutt. The ones who attacked were some members from the valley. While he wanted nothing more than to bite at them, he didn't, for the armored members protected those who held the vines. Ruby struggled in their grasp, seeing the mob surround Chomper. "What's the meaning of this? Let him go! He's done nothing wrong!" "From what this fella told us, he captured you and brought you here against your will," Hip said, standing over the bound Sharptooth. "We're here to rescue you and slay the beast once and for all." "What? I wasn't brought here against my will. I came here of my own accordance." She turned to Ricky, glaring at him. "Chomper has done all he could to protect me from other Sharptooth. He's my dearest friend." With a cocked brow, Ricky was really confused. "Friend? A Sharptooth and a plant-eater? That's hilarious!" "Idiot! Hip, call off the attack and return to the valley." Hip glanced from Chomper to Ruby, noticing they shared the same starry-eyed gleam in their eyes. It struck him. Ruby cared for the Sharptooth. Their bond went deeper than friendship. Thus, the anger turned to jealousy, knowing he had to take out the other suitor. "He must be a smooth talker, for it seems you've developed feelings for this monster." "There's only one monster, and he's right in front of me," Ruby stated. "The beast must have brainwashed you. There's not a moment to waste. We must end him," Hip said, gesturing for them to leave. "I won't let you harm him." Ruby stomped Ricky's foot, throwing a nice punch to Mutt's face. Being the daisy Ricky was, he fell backwards unconscious, while she went forth to shove Hip to the ground. "Release him at once!" "Hey, hands off the boss!" shouted Nod, coming between them. "Yeah, don't touch him," Mutt added, taking and holding her back from kicking Hip. What should we do with her?" Hip rose, wiping the blood from his mouth. "Grab some vines and tie her to the tree. Can't have her interfering with our plans." "Don't harm her!" Chomper struggled to rise, only for a clubtail to smack him on the head, knocking him out. Unable to stay awake, his vision was blurry, making out only Ruby till all went dark. Body going limp, Chomper passed out fully, helpless to fend off those who meant him harm. "Chomper, wake up! Fight!" Hoping he'd fight as he did with a pack of fast biters, yet he was still, motionless. "Chomper!" "I've heard enough out of you." Hip backhanded her across the face, causing her to grimace from the strike. "Take him away. I'll see she remains here." Hip saw the group take Chomper, waiting a few minutes to make sure he was alone with Ruby and Ricky. "Oh, that girl sure can hit," said Ricky as he got to his feet, seeing Mutt manage to avoid a few hits by Ruby, who didn't give up so easily. "Let me help." Ricky and Mutt pinned Ruby to the trunk of the tree, Hip restraining her with a set of vines. When Hip was happy with their work, he patted Ricky's shoulder, Mutt leaving to catch up with the mob. Glad there were no witnesses around, apart from Ruby, Hip smiled and spoke. "Great work. Now I have no use for you." In a quick move, Hip grabbed Ricky's head and snapped his neck, killing him on the spot and showing no remorse. What a fool. Ruby turned away and gasped in shock, fearful he'd do the same to her. "How could you be so cruel?" "I'll be back for you once we're done." He approached her and ran his fingers across her cheek, removing it when she tried to snap at him. "Whoa, you've been around that Sharptooth for too long. Have become savage. Don't fear, Ruby. I shall tame you down." "Drop dead, Hip. When Chomper wakes, he'll kill you." "Oh yeah, right. He doesn't have the stuff, the power to kill me. But I do. I lose no sleep taking a life, ending his." Hip grinned, his eyes full of no shame or restraint, the vision of a true killer. "With him gone, you'll come back to the valley and be my mate, whether you want to or not." Hip turned and left the body by her, else you wish to end up like him. I'd rather die than be a mate to the likes of you, Ruby spat, turning from him. You'll have little choice, Hip said, walking away from her. Brush rustled, and in minutes Hip was gone, leaving her alone. No eyes watching her, Ruby did all she could to rip the vines from her body. Sadly, with how she was tied to the tree, not even her neck could crane over to bite the vines. Moving, she didn't know where they dragged the unconscious Chomper to, or what they were going to do once they had him under their mercy. If he woke, he'd be scared, not for himself, but for her, a burden he carried and took seriously. Chomper, the very thought of him brought forth a warm sense. Her heart ached, helpless, alone, and stuck with the body of Ricky. It was her star day, and here she was, about to lose it all, lose the one she held so near and dear to her heart. A tear ran down her face, Ruby taking a shaky breath. Light glimmers in a flower, like jewels in a dream. The sky breathes life, love to everything. At times I've thought I'm not enough. The vines that tie my heart, but there's still a path that lies ahead for you and I. Memories fade away, clouds of yesterday, with no one to love. Is this life worth living? Come back to me and stay by my side. I feel my heart shake. Come ease this ache. I'm standing over here, reaching for you, a million miles away. Come back and stay, no matter how far your memories may be. When I close my eyes, you're all that I see. Come back to me, a million miles away. Come back and stay. Just when she thought all was lost, something caught her attention. A shadow fell from the sky, coming down to land before her. A cloud of dust floated out from the impact the being made, dust flowing around a slumped-over shape. Rising, it turned out to be some type of flyer, long bill and wide wings. Not only was it a flyer, but it was none other than Petrie, for when he stepped into the light, his smile was clear as day. "Petrie!" Ruby exclaimed, shocked to see him on the island. "How? I mean, you're here! Here you are!" "Ruby, you okay? Not hurt too badly?" he asked, rushing to try and untie her. The vines were too thick for him to untie, pulling and falling back when he lost his grip. Poor Petrie, still clumsy as ever no matter his age. "Whew, where's Chomper?" "He's in trouble. I must help him." "We know. All came to help." "All? As in the entire gang?" "Yap, yap, yap," Ducky said, coming out from behind a tree to grab the vines with her hands and bite them off with her mouth. She and Petrie helped untangle Ruby, leaving Ricky's corpse behind. "That weird guy, such shame." "Yep, yep, yep." Ducky looked to Ruby. "Who did this?" "Hip. He's gone mad, and I fear he'll kill Chomper next." With a nod, Ducky faced her mate. Petrie, mind flying up and seeing where the others went? No problem. Petrie go now. See how others make out. With a few flaps, Petrie rose and darted across the sky. I hope we're not too late, spoke Ruby with worry, clutching her hands nervously. Don't worry, Ruby. I'm sure it'll be okay. It will, Ducky assured her, patting Ruby's back tenderly. With luck, you're right, Ducky. In the air and over the top of the lush island, Petrie scanned the ground, seeing Littlefoot, Sarah, Spike, and Tippy were close to the group of plant-eaters who managed to drag Chomper pretty far. It seemed they headed to the ledge by the big water, guessing the worst for the Sharptooth. Swooping down, he went back to Ruby and Ducky, staying in the air. Anything, sweetie? Ducky asked. Yes, love. This way. Petrie lead. Ducky and Ruby follow. Going ahead, he looked back to them. Others might already be there to stop Hip. What do they plan to do with him? Not sure, but they buy big water. While he tried to hide his fear, he did a poor job of it. Oh, not looking good for Chomper. If they were planning what she thought they were planning, there was little time to waste. Ruby breathing heavily. Hurrying, she moved quickly along the path, throwing brush aside to reach Chomper before it was too late. If they didn't reach him, well, she didn't want to think about that.